Game of the top 4. Switch this guy up.
It's going to be Bakalol versus BrianRT on the bottom side of that bracket.
Woohoo. So we're going to see BrianRT again. Bakalol, who was in the first match. We haven't seen Bakalol in about 40 minutes or so.
Yeah.
To check up on him. So he's playing the double Prince deck against this Bowler Inferno deck. This will be a cool matchup because really while the Inferno Tower and Guards and Ice Spirit are so good against the Princes, the Bowler really isn't. I mean, this deck is actually matched up pretty well against it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, Inferno Tower has just become... It's interesting because now I feel like Inferno Tower is like staple just because of the meta.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, no changes have been made to the tower. In fact, I think the last tower that got buffed was Tesla.
Yeah.
Inferno Tower is really... And it just goes to show how important...
And Inferno Tower got a 6% hit point buff because when the Zap stun retargeted it, it would do that. Which reminds us that if you'd love to see a history of balance changes throughout Clash Royale, make sure to check out our YouTube channel, Super Magical Cup. Our History of the Meta series spends one video each going through all of the balance changes and updates that have gone to the game. Supercell loves the series. They just tweeted it out this week. It's got over 10,000 views so far, so go ahead and check it out and make sure to give us a subscribe and a follow here on Twitch if this is your first time watching. If it's not your first time, we know you already follow. Okay, so let's get into this matchup. I'm such a mark for Bakalol. I love double Prince decks. I'm not even going to hide my bias, unfortunately.
I would say that I like double Prince too, but for the sake of argument, I'm going to say BrianRT.
I think BrianRT's deck is favored to win, right? Like, I think it actually... The only thing in their deck, in BrianRT's deck, that isn't great against the Princes is the Bowler. Yeah. But everything else is amazing. Like, I normally fold when I see decks that are like Guards, Ice Spirit, Ice Wizard, that kind of stuff. So,
and in some ways, the combination of the cards that BrianRT has can open up an opportunity where the Bowler can get a lot of value just because of its splash. Yeah. Like everything else aside, the Bowler can get a good amount of value because a 230 damage splash is not really something to laugh at. It's not the fastest thing, but then again, the Prince is not super quick, right?
Bakalol does guard the defender. I was gonna say, actually, one of the things that really helps Bakalol in this matchup is how good this deck is against miners, right? So we're gonna be seeing miners here. I didn't like that Ice Spirit because the Bowler was already there. And I knew that was happening.
So that's something interesting about playing spirits down the lane that a Bowler exists in, is that they almost never. Yeah, they just.
So I think that might have just been a bad guess here. I like the Princess there, that placement. I actually wish it was further back because I'm afraid that it's going to get killed by something off the river. But he uses the Dark Prince to block. It's interesting to know that the shield absorbs one shot. Oh, the Ice Spirit comes in, the Zap comes in, and the Dark Prince charge takes it out. That's exactly what we've been talking about. And the Bowler as a desperation defense actually isn't that great. It goes down while the Prince is still standing and only not taking damage from their side, just perfectly timed. And it gets a charge in there as the mini pack on the other side. Bakalol is an exceptional split pusher, one of the best split pushers in the game. And this is exactly why I am such a fan of Bakalol's play. He split pushes with the best of them. That was an incredible way to not only counter an Inferno Tower, but catch BrianRT off guard while that Inferno Tower was down.
And the big thing, another charge. It's a split push that doesn't even use things like Three Musketeers, right?
Yeah.
He's not using Three Musketeers. He's not using Barbarians. He actually is just identifying and committing Elixir on each side individually.
Yes. Now, there's no poison in this deck, so he's going to have to actually hit that tower, but it only takes 3 zaps to kill that tower, and he's got a minute to do it, and of course, any number of charges or hits are going to work. Now, Bakalol is purposely playing that Elixir Collector in the bottom right corner because he wants miners to come down that way so that he can play he's playing to see defenses on the side. He wants the miner to come down here so that he can hit it and then have his counterattacks go that way. If it was going on the left side, that doesn't help him as much.
Yeah, I think BrianRT kind of identifies that it's going to be incredibly difficult for him to play back, so he's just poisoned everything, hit the King Tower.
And will this Princess, I think the splash damage will actually hit.
Yeah.
Only one more, and the Ice Spirit gets hit, and this next shot does take the tower down. He has to use a miner on defense to defend. As you can see, the split pushing never stops with Bakalol.
And that miner was really just got softened up by that charge damage.
And that Ice Spirit was I mean, even though the mini pack is really not going to go anywhere, he forced BrianRT to put another 5 Elixir on the board when he needs to be attacking.
Yeah.
Remember, BrianRT's deck can't really attack. It's a super minor control deck, very, very defensive. It's meant to grind you out with poisons in overtime. I don't see how he can stop this in the next 7 seconds. Oh, those charges.
Incidentally, Inferno Towers become really, really weak when one tower is down.
That's a good point. Because when you're trying to
just play mini Pekkas right in front of it.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
It becomes really difficult. Yeah.
Wow. So Bakalol takes game 1 of that series, but now he can't play his favored double Prince deck. So while that was a great game
that
one,
was just like Bakalol really demonstrated like I have mastery over double prints.
Yeah.
And you will get dunked
if you
make a mistake.
Especially against Inferno Tower, which should be like Prince can beat an Inferno Tower. So if you have the right way, if you know exactly what you're supposed to do, you can take advantage, and he really did there. Bakalol has to switch, and he switches to
Giant Bowler.
Giant Bowler, that thing.
Giant Bowler, and I guess this is the deck that I saw him playing in the qualifiers. And he was probably just getting a lot of practice with it.
That's a good point. It's a very popular deck, and it's interesting because Double Prince is an archetype where it's hard to play both lists as Double Prince because you only get 4 cards to overlap between each deck, and if you do Prince and Dark Prince. And Mini P.E.K.K.A, right? You're already at 3, so maybe you'd put Prince, Dark Prince, Collector. Then you have to try to choose between Zap and Prince. That's tough, right? So
you lose a lot of the utility.
Yeah. So I understand why he would play 2 distinctly different decks and instead choose to overlap Ice Spirit, Zap, Mini P.E.K.K.A, and Collector between both decks, changing up really the combat instead of the support.
And you see a lot of different players in the Super Magical Cup kind of featuring different things that they think make them successful. Some players like to keep their utility. Some players like to keep their win conditions. Some players like to focus on a single card. You know? And so it's interesting to see Bakalol identifying he wants to keep most of his utility. Yeah.
And BrianRT, though, again, I still think it's actually a good matchup, though, for BrianRT because, I mean, this is the exact deck you're trying to beat, right? The only downside is his guards aren't going to be very good.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I would have a hard time with Giant Bowler getting through this deck for sure.
Yeah. I would agree.
Bakalol's deck, though, does have Collector. We'll see if he... Again, he's going to have to defend those Collectors, but this deck is way worse at defending Collectors. Because Bowler and Giant both cost 5. They don't really counterattack like the Prince's counterattack, right?
Alternatively, there is that situation where you can use the bullet, push it into King Tower, and this might be...
That's a good point. It's not going to push it that far, but you're right. Like that's 2 extra elixir, but look how little damage he took. Like even if you take his health and divide it by his elixir cost, that wasn't 3 of his 5 cost, right?
Okay, how do you get past the Inferno? Show me. Okay, the
bowler's on the other side, right? Yeah, so that... Oh, and the Zap... Oh, but again, great job using absorbing the Ice Spirit. Yeah. So it looks like this push is going to go nowhere, but... Bakalol is now aware, I guess, that there is an Inferno Tower.
Yep.
But man, that Mini P.E.K.K.A, not a great answer, but an answer. Right? It dies right away to the Inferno Tower. He doesn't even have to defend it all.
Which is pretty much if you wrote the biography of the Mini P.E.K.K.A, that is like its life.
BrianRT is actually in a great position. He's up by 3 elixir right now. Gets a pump down. Bakalol, I guess, is gonna have to get a Collector down and then defend right after. But what is he gonna defend with? There's like nothing great to defend with here.
Yeah.
Maybe you can play that Bowler in front to knock it. No, okay, it's not.
Interesting. I actually maybe would have just let that happen.
I don't even know why BrianRT went with I mean, I know why I went with the Miner because his deck is a deck that only deals damage with Miner and Poison. But I think he would have been better off poisoning the Collector and the Tower and then either sending in the Miner or not. But like, I don't think just the Miner there was a better use of elixir.
All right. Bowler wins.
Guards come in to go in front of the Giant. Where's your Inferno Tower now? Oh, he's not even going to play the Giant. Oh, wow. BrianRT, that's actually a better poison than the one that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. And you do have a little duration of time while your poison will still be maximum effective. So it was well timed.
Wide opening, though. He didn't get his Inferno Tower out. And with the freezer, the Mini P.E.K.K.A can swing once, twice, 3 times? Nope, no, he gets pushed back into the guards. But that poison's going to finish off that Bowler. Wow, Bakalol. I don't even know how he got that through. Did BrianRT just like... I think he had it in cycle, but he accidentally went too low in elixir.
Yeah, I think he just barely didn't have enough elixir. And then also the Mini P.E.K.K.A to the side meant that if he committed that 5 elixir, it would have been chopped away by the Mini P.E.K.K.A instantly. And that's kind of that issue before with Bakalol too, where I can't remember.
That's really early.
Patriots had to play the guards to block the Mini P.E.K.K.A and still couldn't push back the Giant. It's a similar situation. If you play that Inferno Tower too close, it'll get chopped away by the Mini P.E.K.K.A really quick, and then you're down 5 elixir, and the Giant is still alive.
That poison for Bakalol, tons of value. Not only is it hitting the tower, grinds down the Inferno Tower, hit those guards and pretty much killed them. And the Mini P.E.K.K.A was able to, the Musketeer was able to sit back and help shoot. The knockback of that last Bowler shot actually puts Mini P.E.K.K.A back on defense right where she wants to be. And one punch here, just as we go into overtime, takes it down for Bakalol. Bakalol makes his first finals top